cryptic corner where the coins keep turning, logging out, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Thursday. How's everyone doing today? Let's see. I got a poll for you guys. Bear with me just one moment here. Okay. I gotta type 2 more answers. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, guys? I asked you guys, is the everything bull run officially over? Your options are yes, the top is in, no, healthy correction, or it depends on the Fed. Let me know what you think in the chat. What's going on, Drummer? Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn. Appreciate you guys for joining me. I'm a little bit late today, but that's the way of life. You got a job that is a little more required now than it was before the markets decided to do what they're doing right now, whatever that may be. Let's go see our liquidation heat map. We've got immediately 66, 676. Okay, let's make sure that that's the right color. We want it to be green and 2. And then above that, we've got, I'm going to go all the way up here because I can, 69, 138. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that we're actually like going down forever now? 65, 669. And the bottom of the bottom right there, we've got, I'm going to go all the way down here as well, 62, 871. Now, I don't want to try to be a little too bearish when the prices are going down, but I am still fully on board with this this 51.5 level, especially after today. Obviously, recency bias is a consideration, so don't just go YOLO a short position based on anything I say ever, really. You got to make your own decisions. But sometimes people like to make their own decisions based on what other people do. Bitcoin dominance 58.92. We officially broke back below 59 again. Let's see if we continue to the downside. If we lose 57.68, I think we got an opportunity there for some fun in the altcoin sector specifically. But we'll see if liquidity even returns. There's all kinds of talks of liquidity shortage. There's no cash. Nobody has any money or anything. It's weird. It's a weird time to be in the markets for sure. Bitcoin is up 0.51 since the daily close, currently trading at 66,590 and 44 cents. RSI lingering in between like 30 and 50. Not too much going on. It's very much a sideways consolidating pattern. I wouldn't be surprised if we bounced off of 62,871 or if we actually went lower and bounced off of a lower low to then put in maybe a new local high. I don't know. There's definitely some scared folks in the markets today. ETH is up 0.15% on the day, currently trading at $19.50 and 75 cents. ETH probably heading towards, again, if we don't get the little double bottom at 18.12, then we'll probably put in a lower low before we make a new local high. Correction for sure, I think lower. Yeah, I really got my heart set on this 51.5 now, ever since we did that measurement of that RSI situation on like the weekly, I think it was, and we went all the way back to like the 2018 bull. There's just there's a precedent for that RSI pullback. It just makes sense. Or was it on? Was it Bitstamp? I don't think it was Bitstamp. I think it was Coinbase. I can. Oh no. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was Coinbase. So let's go to the weekly. I'll go through it again. I'm not gonna go through any. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. So back here we had a 84% pullback from like the Pico top to the very bottom, bear market bottom, which specifically my bear market bottom, the price could have went lower, but in this measurement specifically, it's when the RSI got the most oversold. So that most oversold RSI was 84%, and then this guy 71% oversold RSI from Pico top to that RSI bottom. Right here, Pico top to the RSI bottom. And then the same thing right here. I went from Pico top, and because we went 84.71, I assumed we're going to lose the same amount. So let's go 58% pullback. That puts us at 51.5, and that puts the RSI potentially touching this trend line. That's been a trend line since 2018. So, not saying it's going to happen, but I do really like this trend line. It just makes sense from a macro perspective. Now, whether or not that touch is going to happen at 58% or 65%, nobody knows. 58 is just I'm not trying to be super duper bearish with this guess. But right now, the RSI on the weekly is really struggling to get anywhere near that moving average. So until we break above that, we're probably going down to that trend line is my guess. Gourmet said, you know the psychology of a market cycle chart and lay it over Bitcoin chart day time frame with the peaks matching at 126. What emotion does it show? All right, let's go. You said daily. Wall Street cheat sheet. Bam. See, it's hard because everyone's lining it up, and this is just a complete deviation. This is a complete deviation. So there's no good way to do it. But if we were to try to fudge it, can I make this semi-transparent? Yes, I can. Okay, let's go. All right, unlock that. Okay. So I don't know. People are the one that I've seen most recently is. I gotta zoom out some more. Hang on, bear with me. Something like this. Yeah, something like that. And it like completely ignores this deviation, which is a possibility, you know. I'm going to say that that's not the case. It shows that we're probably in denial right now. Personally, I feel like it's more like panic, which is still gives us a potential for lower low. So this is what I'm thinking right here. I'm thinking we're at capitulation, anger, panic, capitulation, anger. And then we're probably going to put in a lower low. And then we're going to come up back up. We're going to linger and put in one more. And then this is where hopefully I call my mom again. And I'm like, Mom, Bitcoin's at like 38K or 40K or 50K or 60K or whatever. You need to buy some. Because I called her at 15K and she didn't buy any. There's a lot of stretching going on. There is definitely a lot of stretching going on. There's no, if you notice in the market psychology chart, there's no like nice pullback and then sideways. There's like little bumps, but nothing really matches what we've done so far. Like I can't even zoom out. I can't even I can't squish that down enough to make it fit like good at all. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. There's one in the news segment that we're going to go over as well that somebody pointed out. That's why I was talking about that deviation is where I've seen it. All right, I'm going to skip through all the altcoins because they're all in shambles right now. Solana up 1.26%, chilling at 79.39. Can it hold 75? It looks like it's trying to. We'll see what happens. Total 3, also sideways, choppy, boring. Lunar Entity said there's a lot of stretching going on. That's because Wall Street cheat sheet is a .com abstraction. Okay. Gold up 1.25% on the day. Big fat red candle yesterday. Yesterday down 2.16% in this candle alone. Nice little pullback. Again, I'm still looking for Friday and Monday transition into further upside. Based on the fractal only, there's no science behind that. It's literally just an idea based on the way that prices played out previously. So there's no science behind it. There's no rhyme or reason besides that. Silver, similar situation. We've got a potential triple bottom here on silver, which I'm quite excited for. The only reason why I'm slightly alarmed is the hedge against inflation. The whole hedge argument is kind of going out the window right now. And the DXY is not really, like, this didn't pump at all. So it's weird that silver and gold and the stock market and the crypto market all kind of plummeted a little bit today. It's just, we're in a weird spot. And I don't know if everyone's like, oh my gosh, another government shutdown. I don't know if they understand that it's like the most inconsequential government shutdown that will ever happen, because it's simply like, all it is the Department of Homeland Security, which affects zero infrastructure besides the Department of Homeland Security. And the Department of Homeland Security isn't publishing jobs data or cutting Fed rates or printing money. They don't do anything except Department of Homeland Security things, which is not like administrative to the like health of the United States financial market. It has nothing to do with anything. So if people are panicking because of the impending government shutdown, it's kind of a nothing burger, in my opinion. But who knows? Lunar Entity said, I was watching, most charts had zero consolidation to fall back to as support. I was watching the 1 hour when gold absolutely ripped down, and I noticed most of my equities went down with it. That doesn't bode well for how much cross collateral is in gold. I took a silver short, and about 3 minutes after gold ripped down 3% on the 1 hour, I got a massive take profit hit on silver. Very nice. Congratulations. So yeah, just an interesting market for sure. I'm obviously I'm not married to this fractal. I like the idea of it. It's playing out quite well so far, but is it going to play out precisely the way that it did previously? I have no idea. For all we know, this might have been news based. I got nothing other than guesses. So that's my guess. DXY, still below the 15-year trend line that goes all the way back to April 2011. So it's going to be interesting to see if that continues to break down or not. RSI is above that moving average. So we'll see if it continues up. It doesn't seem like it's strong right now, but it is putting in a higher low. So that higher low maybe cancels out the fact that it is below this trend line. We'll have to see what tomorrow closes as. I don't know. Does the DXY trade on weekends? Is that a thing? Monday, Sunday, Friday. Okay, so it closes on Friday, opens on Sunday. So we'll see what tomorrow looks like. If we close a weekly candle below that, it's probably going to be pretty juicy. Lunar Entity said gold is getting a bit too large for my taste. 35 trillion is wild. We started 2025 at 12 trillion. That is crazy. Market cap is a fabrication. Okay, strategy, aka Big B Coffee, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I actually stopped. I stopped at the MicroStrategy headquarters today. Check this out. MicroStrategy headquarters. It was pretty sick. Michael Saylor was not in, but they do have good coffee. So, Big B Coffee, aka MicroStrategy, currently down 2.44% on the day, $122.75. I don't know if this thing's ever going to recover. Recency bias says not, but when we crawl out of the gutter, I'm sure things will look a lot better. As of right now, bearish crossover the moving average and the RSI yesterday, still in play. Point of the downside, 88 Metals Mania said sick. It was fun. It was fun. They were all in uniform in there and stuff. Red dot on the momentum wave, point of the downside on strategy. Again, I don't know if Market Cipher applies to stocks, but we're going to talk about it anyways. NASDAQ down 0.09% on the day, 24,718. Taking a big fat dump Rooney. Now, what's interesting is even though Fractal is decoupled severely, we did have a dump right here, which perfectly lines up with that. So if tomorrow things start to look up, and then especially Tuesday, then I'm going to take full credit for this. You know, if this thing like crawls out and then Tuesday it goes boop, and then it does another one and continue, then I'm going to take credit for that. 88 Metals Mania said, JJ, in 2021, that would be a $5 million NFT, sir. That would actually be a $5 million NFT. I still have all my NFTs, man. Some of them are making money for me. I don't have all of them. That's not true. I will say, as far as NFTs go, I am net positive, but I did not put a lot into it. I bought stuff that I liked only because I like the art, and I immediately listed it for twice what I paid for it, and almost every single time I doubled my money. The ones that I didn't double my money on are like $5, $10 NFTs, and I maybe have like less than a dozen of them. I love them. They're very, it's like Garbage Pail Kids. You know, they're not worth anything, but they're worth something to me. You know, it's like a nostalgic valuation. Now, my Sneckies NFT is actually mining crypto and converting it to SNEC, which is awesome. That's like a self-bag pumping mechanism. It's pretty cool. And that SNEC, I get, you know, a big portion of that mined SNEC. So it does add to my bags over time, which is pretty neat. Other than that, though, I am net positive on NFTs, which I'm quite proud of. It's not a lot, though. Like I said, maybe a couple grand. But that was like 2021, 2022. Past that, everything that I bought was like pocket change. And I bought it with the strict intention of just keeping it. NFTs definitely, I hope they make a comeback, because that was probably one of the funner things in crypto, but you never know, man. Maybe it was only popular because people had a shit ton of extra money from the stimmies. S&P, 68.32 and 77 cents. The fractal, I guess the fractal, see, this is interesting because we got uptrend, downtrend, a little spike. I guess you could call that little spike. And then that downtrend right there, you could call that. And then you get a big hump with a dip, big hump with a dip. Are we going to do one more big hump dip and then a rip? Big hump dip and then a rip. I'm sorry, I apologize. When I go full autistic, I just have to zone out and do what I'm doing. I apologize. So let's see. This is the end of the fractal, which is kind of sad. Ask Fractal 3.0, followed only previously by Ask Fractal 2.0 and Ask Fractal Senior. Numero uno, Smitty Werbenjagerman Jensen. He was number one. S&P 500, 68.32. Let's see if we get a bounce tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how the president plays this off, because he's been a very stock market active president. So, Fight Fan said, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Lunar Entity said, if NFTs make a comeback, I'll probably be via institutions using it for RWA. 88 Middles Mania said, I recall all them folks buying land in Decentraland. I thought about buying land so many times that I never did, because I was like, they can just make as much of this as they want. It is like, land is actually the most, just do whatever you want with it. Now, if they were like putting cool buildings on it and stuff where you could, like, I don't know, open your little digital business, sure. I think Blocktopia was the most successful metaverse, and they're nowhere to be found. It was all just like canned assets, which were like for free on whatever, I forget what marketplace it was. It might have been Unity, like Unity Marketplace. So they kind of capitalized on the whole metaverse space. It was just interesting. Every single business, every exchange, every influencer had a floor on Blocktopia, which was just this like infinity tower. It was actually a really cool concept. Execution, meh. But also, not everybody has a VR headset. The people that do, some of them get nauseous from it. So I always thought that it would be cool if you could just go in the VR headset and like go up to your VR desk and buy some like VR crypto and stuff. But then I was like, what's the point at that point? Just do the things in real life. Like, VR is neat, but when it gets too realistic, then you start to think to yourself, you're like, Why am I not just making a cup of coffee and drinking it in real life? Why am I making it in this weird digital world? I have a coffee maker. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird, man. It's a weird world we're heading into. Everyone's going to have empty rooms, and you're going to put the headset on when you get in their house, and you're going to see all of their emulated furniture and stuff. And then you take it off, and it's just a sack of potatoes. Okay. Flight fan said, why do all the people predict a blow-off top that never came are all predicting a blow-off bottom now? Oh, they're pivoting. They're just pivoting to the next big thing. I don't know if I told you guys this yet. Ben Cowan blocked me. Ben Cowan literally blocked me. Because I posted his video of him being like, the 4-year cycle only ever played out one time, and it's not actually real, and I stand by that. And that was him in 2021. And now he's like, the 4-year cycle has played out every single year for forever. So, I don't know, he got mad because he looked like an idiot in his own footage. So he blocked me, which I think is hilarious. He's supposed to be this big technical guy, and he can't even have a conversation. All he had to do was be like, oh, you know, the market's changed, so my point of view changed. Good one, though. Haha, that's really funny. He got me. You know, if he would have just played it off, then I would look like an asshole. But he blocked me like a little baby. So now I'm going to publicly challenge him to a boxing match. I'm just kidding. I'm going full unhinged. I'm in my BitBoy arc right now. Do I have your attention now? I have to keep grabbing the mic. Remember, he'd always freak out and grab the mic. Oh man, I gotta get the right kind of mic so I can just keep grabbing it when I'm talking. I gotta start doing steroids and Adderall. I'm sorry, he's clean now. Good for him. All right, let's continue. S&P, looking for that recovery tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Bitcoin, kind of a struggle bus. News segment. We've got Watch a Guru posting. SEC Chair Paul Atkins says the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world with transparency and innovation leading the way. Our bags are transparently innovating to the downside. Thank you, Paul Atkins. You've done literally nothing. Silver crashes under $80 following over 7% today. Gold falls below 4,900, dropping over 4% in 30 minutes. Coinbase says users currently unable to buy, sell, or transfer crypto. They should put a little more context in that, because it sounds like Coinbase is just like, users can't buy, sell, or transfer. Like they just don't give a crap. They're just stating that. Users cannot buy, sell, or transfer crypto. Okay, like super evil villain. Site performance transactions. Investigating. We are aware that customers may be unable to buy, sell, transfer on Coinbase.com at this time. Our team is investigating this issue and will provide an update. Your funds are safe. Polymarket launches 5-minute Bitcoin price markets. Ladies and gentlemen, this, I believe, is where all of the liquidity that was trading crypto is going to go. Now, that's going to be a weird one because there's no longer going to be like, I don't know, maybe it's going to be beneficial over time. The leverage is going to just go to like Polymarket. I just got deja vu. I just got such bad deja vu. The leverage is going to go to Polymarket. And then there's not going to be any violent leverage flushes, or maybe there's going to be less violent leverage flushes in crypto, which should be good in the long run. But we'll see what happens. Binance buys another 4,545 Bitcoin worth $305 million for its Seifu fund. Coinbase buys $39 million worth of Bitcoin in Q4 2025. Very cool. California's proposed wealth tax has cost the state an estimated $1 trillion in lost investments and business as billionaires flee. Interesting. Lunar Entity said tech got extremely boring after 2001. I suspect crypto will slowly go the same way. That sucks so bad. I actually agree 1000% as well, because we were just talking about this the other day, how cool tech used to look, let alone actually be. Like, look at this. Game Boy Advance SP. Look at this sleek piece of beautiful technology. They don't make anything with buttons anymore. The most analog screen possible, a little 8-bit. But I mean, it was sick. It was awesome. Tech was the Wild West from 89 to 2001. It was so cool though, dude. It was so freaking cool. There was like actual like design implementation instead of just being like, how do we streamline this for manufacturing? Straight lines, straight edges, and neutral colors. That's everything now. Everything. You can either get black, gray, beige, or white. And then they're like, ew, rose gold. It's very unique. And that's all you get. You get a color. But the rest of it still looks the same. I think vintage tech is gonna make a comeback at some point when people have money to spend on bullshit like that. Cashok said they made a deal with Circle for on-chain USDC. They know something, LOL. Ooh. I blame that stupid turtleneck. That's what I was just gonna say. I said it yesterday, I think. Apple streamlined, like, I don't know, they did the assembly line for tech. Henry Ford, he's like, you can have whatever color you want as long as it's black. That's what Apple did. They said you can have whatever phone you want as long as it's rectangle. Very cool. Thank you, Rectangle. I mean, Apple. Or literally any other phone manufacturer. Just in, $1 trillion wiped out from the U.S. stock market today. Pretty cool. It's like a black hole, but it's red. It acts like a black hole when you put your money into it. We don't know what happens. Stablecoin mint 2 minutes ago. This was 11 hours ago. Another 250 million USDC issued on Solana. Chain dominance for large transactions now tracks Solana doing 54% of volume daily over Ethereum's 46%. Large participants also want fast and cheap transactions. Binance CEO, this is a long one, Richard Tang has publicly addressed the massive crypto market event on October 10th, 2025, often called the 10-10 crash. I wish we'd stop calling it that because it looks like 10 out of 10. Stating that the $19 billion in liquidations were primarily driven by macroeconomic and geopolitical shocks between the U.S. and China rather than any issues specific to Binance. Ha! They literally said it. They admitted it. They paid like $384 million in reparations from their F-up. Because that's all that they could take responsibility for because they knew that they didn't have $19 billion to spare. This statement came during his appearance at CoinDesk's Consensus Hong Kong conference on February 12, 2026, amid ongoing discussions and some blame directed at centralized exchanges like Binance for technical glitches or platform-specific vulnerabilities during the turmoil. Key details from Tang's comments. The trigger was U.S. announcements of fresh tariffs on China, including threats of 100% tariffs on imports, combined with China's imposition of export controls on rare earth metals, which flipped global risk sentiment and caused broad sell-offs across asset classes. Liquidations hit every major exchange, centralized and decentralized, not just Binance, making it a market-wide phenomenon rather than a platform failure. For context, the broader U.S. equity market saw a $1.5 trillion plunge in value that day, with $150 billion in liquidations there alone. Crypto's $19 billion wipeout was proportional given its smaller size. About 75% of crypto liquidations clustered around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, colluding with the macro news flow. Tang noted isolated issues on Binance like stablecoin depegging and temporary slowness in asset transfers, but emphasized these were unrelated to the core cause, and that Binance supported affected users, including compensation in some cases, unlike some other platforms. That's very sus. I think that's sus. Lunar Entity said, Jobs killed the imagination in tech. I stand by that. You should say Steve Jobs, because I thought you were talking about the jobs numbers. Calvin said, I voted healthy correction. Never seen Bitcoin correct so quickly. Like always, this time will tell. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's never gone down this fast. That's why there's no fractal or rhyme or reason anyone can go, well, this is why this has happened, because this and this is what's going to happen next. Nobody saying that will ever convince me that they know what the hell they're talking about, because no one knows what's going on right now. If anyone claims that they do, they're full of shit. So that's my opinion. I'll stand by that. I will speculate. I'll speculate all day. But if somebody claims that, like, this is what happened, this is what I know happened, and it's 100% what's going to happen next, I think those people are liars and idiots. Sorry, I had to reactivate my camera. It looked a little blurry. Okay. By the way, if you guys want to help support the channel, and you want to be a degenerate gambler, sign up for Kalshi with my referral link in the description. When you sign up there and deposit and trade $25 or more, We both received $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. It is gambling, though, so treat it as such. Only play with money you can afford to lose. Top 10 looks the same as it did yesterday and the day before. Crypto Fear and Greed Index on CoinMarketCap is at 8. Extreme Fear last week it was at 5. Yesterday was at 8 as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before April. We're getting close. Lunar Entity said it could also be the weird airdrop by BitThumb that coincided with the Kevin Warsh announcement. Strangely convenient timing to seed 600k paper Bitcoin. Oh yeah, yep. You just created it. It's fine. That's what I've always said. I'm like, it's just BS, dude. All they have to do is say, yep, you deposit what? You deposit $66,500 and you buy 1 Bitcoin. So then I take your $66,500, I write a piece of paper that says 1 Bitcoin, and I hand it to you. I'm like, there you go. And then I take this money and I put it in whatever the hell I want. Bitcoin price continues to drop because I'm just making and selling paper Bitcoin behind the scenes. You don't see it. The price drops. You're like, shit, I need to cash out. Meanwhile, I have your $66,500 over here, and Bitcoin's down to 30K now. So you're like, I'm going to sell my Bitcoin. And I'm like, all right. I take 30K out of that, and I give you your 30K. I'm like, here you go. Thank you for playing. And I still have the other 35K. Or 36K over there. It's just, I don't know, it just seems a little too easy to extract from the space, especially when prices are dropping. That's just my opinion. I also found it really weird when SBF and the whole FTX thing was happening, and everyone was like, here's our reserves, and the reserves did not match the assets that they offered at all. They're like, yep, like some of our users have Dogecoin and XRP and Hedera, but we don't have those coins in our reserves at all. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Their reserves were just like the top 10 coins, and then the other like 90% of coins or whatever, 90 out of the top 100, they're just like, whatever. They're going to go down against the top 10. So I don't know. It was just weird. It was so weird to me when that was going on. Lunar Entity said that's why I tried to sell someone that scared retail is a tired narrative. Paper flows dictate the trends for OTC customers. Okay. Stablecoin mint 2 minutes ago. This was 4 hours ago as well. Another 250 million on Solana. Kobayashi letter. AI is driving historic profitability in the market. The S&P 500's net income margin, excluding financials, is up to a record 13%. At the same time, the S&P 500's net margin, excluding the Magnificent Seven and tech, is down to 9%. This marks a 4% gap between tech and non-tech sectors, the largest on record. Margins for companies in the index outside of tech and financials have declined 2 percentage points over the last 4 years. AI is transforming profitability. Interesting. Multifamily mortgage delinquencies are surging. Seriously delinquent rates in multifamily mortgages at Freddie Mac are up to 0.48%, the highest in at least 21 years. The percentage has doubled over the last 2 years. At the same time, Fannie Mae multifamily serious delinquency rates are up to 0.75%, the highest since 2021. By comparison, the 2008 financial crisis peak was 0.8%. Really? Multifamily 90-plus days delinquency rates at Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae averaged 0.01% to 0.1% between 2014 and 2019, well below the current levels. Multifamily mortgage pressures are building. It makes sense. Higher supply, there's going to be a higher percentage, I imagine. Okay. Russia is considering moving. This is actually huge news. Russia is considering moving back to the US dollar as part of a wide-ranging economic partnership with President Trump, per Bloomberg. The partnership would include US and Russia working together on fossil fuels, joint investment in natural gas, offshore oil and critical raw material partnerships, windfalls for US companies, Russia's return to the USD settlement system. If finalized, this deal would change the global economy. That would be crazy. U.S. home sales fell 8.4% in January. Wow! The biggest monthly decline since February 2022. That's huge, actually. Wow. The Trump administration secretly smuggled 6,000 Starlink satellite terminals into Iran in January after the Iranian government cut off internet in the country, per Wall Street Journal. That's freaking hilarious. Lunar Entity said, I haven't seen Wall Street and the financial sector spend so much money since they wanted to take double entry bookkeeping digital. That is kind of crazy how much money they're just the capex spending is out of control right now. And I think that's why so many people are turned off because they don't know what the hell's going on. Like, how are you going to turn all that capex into profits? That's a ton of money. And I think it's hard for people to see. And I think me, Kevin touched on this a little bit. There's been a lot of development, but no execution yet. And that's why he thinks Meta is doing better than others in that department, or at the time, why Meta was doing better than others in that department, because they're actually executing their AI via advertising and marketing. And that's why their marketing numbers are up so much, because apparently it's incredibly intuitive or something. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I did recently pay for Facebook ads for my company that I work for, and it sucked. It was awful. But that's like our first time, so I'm not going to blame Facebook ads. I just don't know what the hell I'm doing, probably. It's entirely possible that I'm not good at marketing. I'm more than willing to accept that. Okay. Gold prices fall 3.5% in 15 minutes and officially drop back below 5K an ounce. Silver prices fall nearly 10% in 30 minutes and officially drop back below $76 an ounce. Crazy. U.S. equity markets extend their decline with the NASDAQ 100 now down 1.5%. Breaking, Apple stock falls 5% on the day, now on track for its biggest daily decline since April 2025. Apple has been like this big, beautiful, like this, it's almost like a symbol of like wealth and success. And I think that that's going to flip soon. I think instead of being a symbol of wealth and success, I think it's going to be a symbol of like boring, like snotty. I think people are not going to like Apple soon because it's the quality has gone down. And I'm an Apple guy. I'm a MacBook Maxi. I actually have in my cabinet behind this curtain a 2011 MacBook Pro that to this day, if I power it on, will be up and ready to run within 2 minutes. And it's, what is it? Wow. 14, it's 15 years old. I have a 15-year-old MacBook Pro that still works just as good as it did the day that I got it. And the only reason why I swapped and got this one, this is in 2017, by the way, still 9 years old, is because they stopped supporting the hardware. So I wanted the latest operating system. I got this new one. And by the way, this new one sucks compared to the 2011. So the price going up and the quality going down, that K-shaped deviation, I think is going to be the downfall of Apple. Not to mention their like predatory peripheral market where their chargers are like $30 and their chargers are garbage. They're like actual garbage. I don't know. I think people are going to wisen up to it very quickly here. Bitcoin's still struggling, 66,513 and 18 cents. Coinbase Coin says many users are currently unable to buy, sell, or transfer crypto. President Trump, now we have to make a deal with Iran. I don't know what that means, but let's do it. U.S. copper stockpiles are exploding. Copper inventories at ComEx surged to a record 589,081 short tons last week. Since June 2024, copper stockpiles have risen 6,400% and now exceed the previous record of 399,341 short tons set in 2002 by 48%, including off-exchange inventories. Total U.S. copper stockpiles are now estimated at 1.1 million short tons. This nearly equals the annual production of the world's largest copper mine, Escondida in Chile. This all comes as U.S. copper imports nearly doubled in 2025 to a record 1.9 million short tons. Fears that President Trump would impose tariffs on refined copper, the most commonly traded form of the industrial metal, are driving the historic rush. The U.S. is hoarding copper at an unprecedented pace. I would too, honestly. I actually am as well. Let's see. Lunar Entity said, we never turned all that telecom borrowing into profits until 10 years later. Same for the capex for shale and oil. Those companies just recently went positive on cash flow. Big crash in 2014. I ordered some copper bullion in November. Still waiting on it. What? You gotta order it on, just buy it on eBay, man. eBay customer services. Plus, if you If you buy it today and the price drops tomorrow, you can always cancel the order. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Unless you're buying from like a mint on eBay, then F them. Cancel it all you want. Okay. Coin unexpectedly reports a large quarterly loss, posting quarterly EPS of minus $2.49 compared to expectations of 96 cents. The company posted a net loss of $667 million last quarter. I suspect that is only going to get worse. They did just recently add prediction markets, which is good. Even the exchanges are diversifying. But I don't know. I think that these crypto exchanges are going to be in trouble if the market continues going the way that it's going. That's great that they offer Bitcoin and Ethereum, but their bread and butter is probably altcoins, and no one is buying altcoins right now. So it's probably looking a little spicy. You know, they have like customer capacity for like this much, and their employees are at that level as well. But there's only like this many customers out there. So when you have this many customers and you're operating at a capacity of like this big, you're going to be losing a little bit of money, I suspect. Okay. U.S. debt spiral is about to intensify. The CBO projects that U.S. budget deficits will rise by an additional $1.4 trillion over the next 10 years. This comes as government spending is set to be $1.3 trillion higher than previously expected. At the same time, revenues are estimated to be $49 billion lower than prior forecasts. Furthermore, net interest is projected to surge to a record $2.1 trillion in 2036, more than doubling from 2026 levels. As a percentage of GDP, the deficit is projected to reach 6.7% by 2036, well above the 50-year average of 3.8%. What is the long-term plan here? Just print more money. You know you want to. Just do it. Turn on the printer. Lunar Entity said, if you chart coin earnings, it's a weird lagging indicator of crypto interest. Their bad earnings usually happen when the bottom is near or in. Interesting. Who Calvin earlier said he voted healthy correction because Bitcoin's gone down so fast. I think I agree with that. And obviously, by technical indicators, by like all previous instances, we are in a bear market. I just don't think it's going to be a 12-month long thing. Even now, as people are, dooming and glooming about a recession and like a worse crash than the dot-com bubble and the pandemic and the housing financial crisis in 2008 combined, I don't see it. I'm going to call BS. I don't think they would ever let that happen. They didn't let it happen in 2020. They're not going to let it happen again today. They could just print more money. Why not just print money? I think inflation, in their mind, inflation is better and easier to deal with than a recession. Not to mention they've changed the definition so many times that it's probably impossible to actually achieve a proper recession at this point. The definition is like a recession is when a volcano erupts and the entire United States is engulfed in flaming hot magma. Everyone's like, what? They're like, that's a recession. That's what it is. That's what it's always been. Don't look up the historic definition because it's the same. Everyone's like, okay, whatever. Lunar Entity said CapEx spending took place from 1992 all the way to 2000. Yeah, that's 8 years, guys. That's 8 years. We have not been talking about AI since 2018. We have not had ridiculously enormous CapEx spending since 2018. If we're being generous, it started in 2024. So we got 6 years left still. Lunar Entity said the market didn't implode until Q3 2000. Yeah. I'm going to call BS. And you're not going to tell me, oh, well, it's happening faster now because of technology. Okay. Good luck with that. Okay. Trueflation posted breaking preliminary U.S. initial jobless claims for first week of February, 227,000, down 5,000, but above market expectations of 222,000. No, I'm sorry, 222,000. Wow. I don't know what just happened. The increase could be attributed to business disruptions from winter storms, which prompted households to apply for unemployment benefits. The earlier periods were revised upwards. The previous weeks revised by 1,000 to 232,000. The 4-week moving average up 7,000 to 219,500. Continuing unemployment claims rose by 21,000 to 1.862 million for January. The insured unemployment rate stayed at 1.2% for the last week of January. The current number is higher than the last 8 weeks, with the exception of the last week of January. But when you zoom out, the overall levels remain fairly stable since 2022. Very cool. Lunar Entity said they started borrowing instead of using FCF in Q2 2025. What is FCF? U.S. inflation today, according to millions of daily price data. U.S. CPI 0.74%, U.S. PCE 1.27%. Again, this is Truflation specific. This is not what the Fed uses, but it's what the Fed should use. Tomorrow we'll learn the official U.S. headline inflation numbers for January. The latest U.S. CPI inflation for December was 2.7%. Will the BLS catch on any of the recent disinflationary trends we are seeing across multiple price data categories? We'll be discussing the BLS CPI inflation data release during our Spaces tomorrow, February 13th, 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. What are we thinking? Let's do a poll. Let's end our current poll. We got 9 votes, guys. Don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for joining me. All right, let's see. 9 votes. I asked you guys, is the Everything Bull Run officially over? 45% of you guys said no, healthy correction. 33% of you guys said yes, the top is in. 22% of you guys said depends on the Fed. Let's do another poll. Do you think January inflation comes in? How do you think January inflation comes in? Higher? Lower? Or the same? Nothing better. All right, ladies and gentlemen, direct your attention to the poll in the chat. How do you think January inflation comes in? Higher, lower, or the same? Nothing burger. This will obviously influence the Fed's decision. Maybe not because of jobs numbers, but jobs numbers were mostly healthcare, which is odd that healthcare continues to increase while everything else decreases. Lunar Entity said FCF free cash flow, net positive revenue draw, including debt obligations. Okay. EBITDA, the same thing, but we removed the debt so it looks good. Nice, very nice. I like to do that as well. What bills? Okay. Update. Tessera integrates Chainlink as its official Oracle provider to verify tokenized private equity assets in real time. I understand the decentralized aspect, but should we really be putting all of our eggs in one Oracle? Shouldn't we have multiple oracles to kind of feed into that whole decentralized thing? It's cool that you're using a decentralized service to begin with, but you should be using multiple so that there isn't one single point of failure as well. That's just my opinion. Okay. Insight, 8 of the top 10 fastest growing tokenized asset deployments are stablecoins. The other 2 are tokenized stocks. We've been saying this for a long time, and this is one of those instances where I actually hate being right, but stablecoins are going to continue to spearhead adoption in cryptocurrency. It's going to dwarf cryptocurrency as a whole asset class. It's probably going to dwarf everything as an asset class. And we're not going to be able to talk about stablecoins in the same sentence as cryptocurrency because it's going to be completely unrelated soon. I think stablecoins are going to flip Bitcoin and Ethereum, and everyone's going to be like, oh my God. And it's going to be a huge FUDs thing where everyone's like, oh my gosh, everyone's stablecoining out. They're not. And that's not going to be the case. But the market's immature, so that's how it's going to react. Lunar Entity said, consolidation has been a quiet narrative in every sector, tech especially. Okay. Polygon brings USDC tax refunds at Milan, Rome, and Venice airports during the 2026 Winter Olympics. That's actually really sick. I would get my tax return in stablecoin easily. No questions. Whoops. Oh, I clicked. Oh, thank God. It saved my spot. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. $92 million in crypto positions liquidated in the past 60 minutes. That was 10 hours ago. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan says, if you squint, early signs of a crypto bear market exit are emerging. including agentic finance, institutional DeFi, quantum risk progress, and accelerating tokenization. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but it looks like he's popping a cork off of a bottle and that it's going big fat green arrow. I don't know if they planned that, but it was very satisfying to look at. I was like, oh. Okay, Standard Chartered sees Bitcoin falling to 50K and ETH to 1400 near term on ETF outflows and macro pressure. I forgot to tell you guys, I actually work for Standard Chartered, which is why their price target is the same as mine, because I'm the one who did that at Standard Chartered. Specifically 50,500, or is it 51? I don't remember. I don't actually work for them. 51.5. Okay, yeah, I don't work for them. No, they're full of crap. They don't know what they're talking about. Lunar Entity said, funny you mentioned that, JJ. I'm betting on Coinbase being one of the first on-chain banks. I mean, okay, here's what's interesting about that and why I'm probably going to buy the dip on their stock, because they already have, I think, the bank license, don't they? And during last bull market, they had an option for you to get paid, like your payroll, directly into your Coinbase account. Not to mention the Coinbase card, which is a thing of beauty. I think it's through a third-party bank, but it's still freaking awesome. I have mine right here, actually. Oh, very nice. It's beautiful blue. I don't know if you can get it anymore, or if you have to have had it already. I have no idea, to be honest. They have a credit card, too, I think. I don't remember, but that's the debit card, which is sick because it makes it really easy to take profits. And it's nice being in full control of your money. If you're ever, which I'm not frequently as I used to be in the past, because I'm financially literate now, which is really nice. But if at any point I had some crazy emergency, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need this money, but it's all in crypto right now. All I would have to do is sell it or whatever, send it to my Coinbase, convert it to whatever, or I could just leave it in that same asset, and then I could swipe the card and spend it. It's so nice, dude. It's so nice. Gourmet Brand said, I like the Coinbase card, but it doesn't work at gas stations. Yes, it does, unless you're talking about at the pump. I've never had any problem paying at the gas station. But if you're talking at the pump, that's because the pump usually, I think the pump either takes like 50 or 70 no matter what, and then they refund you the rest later. It's really weird. I remember the first time I discovered that, I was pissed, because I was like a broke college kid, and I pay at the pump, and then I'm like, I got like 5, 10, 15 bucks in gas, and then I check my bank account's like empty or negative, and I was like, what the hell? And I'm like calling, they're like, oh, did you pay at the pump? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, well, when you pay at the pump, they just take $70. And then you have to wait like a week to get your money back. I was like, what the hell? It was a crazy, it blew my mind. I'm like, it's 2012. What are you telling me right now? Lunar Entity said, the credit card is a much better offering, but the rewards are tiered based on the amount of assets you hold on the exchange. Okay, so here's the thing about that too. During the bull run, the rewards were huge. I think it was like 4% on pretty much everything. And then it eventually dwindled down to just like 4% on Doge, and then that went down to 3, 2, and now it's 1% on everything, if you're lucky. I actually haven't looked in forever. Calvin said, thank you, JJ and Lunar. Appreciate you too, but I've got to turn in. Stay blessed, gents. It's a journey. Take it easy, my friend. Happy Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. Yes, unfortunately, I'm drinking coffee. I probably shouldn't be, but I am. Guys, I worked 2 hours later than I wanted to today, which already pissed me off. Then I found out that I'm going to be at the same place tomorrow, which pissed me off even more. I had to get up early. I have to go to a meeting and take some measurements of this big, beautiful, bougie house. I'm excited about that. But then I have to go back to the freaking job site that I've been working on for like a week. And it's like 2 hours away. And I'm probably going to spend my entire day there. And when I got home today, after all of that, I'm not joking, my toilet was clogged. If somebody would have been in my apartment at the time, I would probably be in prison. I was going to murder the toilet. The toilet was going to be deceased. I'm not even joking. I spent 40 minutes plunging this toilet. I was livid. I don't think I've ever been that mad in my entire life. I was flipping out. So I get the toilet unclogged. After 40 minutes. And then I got prepared for the stream and went live, which is why I was so late. I was not going to leave the toilet. I've resorted now to just flushing it every hour. Just in spite of the toilet existing, to run up the water bill for the owners of my apartment complex because they pay the water bill. They didn't do anything, but I'm mad that my toilet was clogged for 40 minutes. So I'm taking it out passive aggressively via, for some reason, a water bill, which shouldn't exist in the first place, let alone in a state of Michigan, which is surrounded by the largest bodies of fresh water in the world. But that's a conversation for a different time. G Immortal said, "Sup, JJ? What's going on, G Immortal? Happy Thursday, my friend." Gourmet Brand said, "Yes, at the pump. I just leave money in USDC, either for dust or just to buy stuff and get Bitcoin rewards with purchases. You just got to prepay then. Why can't you just prepay? It works at gas stations. It don't work at the pump. The pump is a scam anyways. That's how people... My mom's been paying at the pump, like, her whole entire life. And I swear to God, she calls me, like, once every quarter. She's like, I think my identity got stolen again. Like, what? Did you pay at the pump? She's like, well, yeah. I'm like, stop doing that. They put those stupid little card readers in there everywhere because nobody watches the pump, and then they just come back and grab it after your dumbass swipes your card. I just hit my desk on accident. That didn't hurt as bad as it sounded. I don't know. We're getting so sidetracked. Crash Oak said, once Coinbase allows direct deposits, I'm gonna direct a good 1/3 of my check. LOL. I know that's dangerous. When it happened, I was like, this is a bad idea, but it sounds very nice. But imagine if you had multiple jobs then. We're being indoctrinated into this life of like, you have to have multiple jobs and you're never going to be able to afford a house. But imagine you had multiple jobs. Your like regular 9-to-5 day job, you just get paid cash, whatever your check. And then your side job or your part-time job on the weekends, you get paid directly to your Coinbase account. That sounds pretty sick. G Immortal said, your opinion on Dutch's new legislation. Over 30% CGT on unrealized gains is effect on US. On us, thanks. Dutch's, I don't think it would affect us at all. It is specific to Denmark. I did see that. I think that that's absolutely insane. Imagine capital gains tax on unrealized gains. I don't think that'll ever happen in the United States because of the amount of insider trading that takes place. But just imagine, Bitcoin's 120K. Bitcoin's 300K. And you're sitting pretty, and it's tax time, and you're like, uh-oh, Bitcoin was 300K on New Year's, so, you know. And then a couple months go by, Bitcoin crashes 50%. You're about to submit your taxes. They're taxing you as if Bitcoin's $300,000 right now. And as if you made, let's say, 400% gains for the year or more. But you don't actually have that money. You never had that money. The money doesn't exist for you to pay them. It's just imaginary. It's imaginary debt. It's more imaginary debt than what debt actually is. And debt's already imaginary. If there's this much money in the world and I lend it out to you at 1%, where's the 1% going to come from? You pay me this, and then let's say at that point you'd have to like work for me, and I'd have to pay you, over time, and then you just have to pay me this or whatever. It doesn't make sense. It's all imaginary. It's all inflationary. It's all a psyop. We're going full tinfoil for this one. That is a psyop. I'm gonna leave this on for the next news segment. Cointelegraph latest. Aave Labs proposes directing 100% of product revenue to the Aave DAO under its new Aave Will Win framework. I like that. Building during the bear. That's what we like to see. I might buy some Aave strictly because they are grandfathered in, well established, and they grind during the bear market, man. That's what we want to see. BitGo expands its partnership with 21 Shares to provide staking and custody across the US and EMEA. Very cool. Polymarket introduces 5-minute Bitcoin price prediction markets. We talked about this earlier. I think this is where all the leverage traders are going to go. Cash Oak said they're going to have to come for 100 million Americans, LOL. It's Denmark specific, though. That's the thing. Coinbase missed Q4 estimates, reporting a 667 million loss as revenue fell 20%. Imagine just being able to be like, oops, we lost $667 million. Like, just imagine being able to be in a spot financially where you could lose $667 million. It's crazy. Oh, James Wynn got liquidated recently. I saw that. That's crazy as well. I feel bad for the guy at this point. I feel so bad for him. Huge. CFTC announces a 35-member Innovation Advisory Committee, which includes CEOs from Coinbase, Polymarket, Ripple, Kraken, Gemini, Chainlink Labs, and Robinhood. Very cool. Jupiter Lens exits beta, reporting 83,000 users and a clean $0 bad debt record. Very cool. Coinbase added 39 million worth of Bitcoin in Q4 2025. This is the one that I was cracking up at. Stock Money Lizards posted this. I have seen this chart over and over for the past 3 months, each time with a different "we are here" marker. You can make it fit your bias. You absolutely can, and that's what makes it fun. But Rekt Fencer, who's historically really, really bad at any kind of prediction, posted this, and it just kind of made me laugh. It fits to an extent when you completely ignore all of this, complete deviation on the left. That's fine. But are we in denial, panic, capitulation? Possibly. Honestly, if we are going down to 50K, this might not be that far off, if we're being real. But if we're being honest, the top of this should be the top of that. I don't know. I'm just saying. But then that would make us have to pull back further, so I'll just shut my mouth. Bitcoin Magazine posted a Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 360 has been merged into the official Bitcoin BIP's repository, aiming to strengthen Bitcoin against quantum. Very cool. This cracked me up. I'm not going to play the audio, but you guys saw the Coinbase Super Bowl commercial. Coinbase went down earlier. They weren't processing transactions, so this was Kraken's response. It was pretty hilarious. I think it's quit playing games with my heart. I don't know if that's the actual song though. I think it's the same as Everybody. But it was a Coinbase commercial. It's just a parody of it, and it's so funny. Bye bye bye. That's what it is. It's bye bye bye. I was cracking up. I was like, damn, this is a brilliant marketing campaign. They just crapped all over them. Like, I don't know who's in charge of this, but they did a brilliant job here. That was freaking funny. Breaking: sugar plunges to lowest price since October 2020. This one's crazy. I don't know why sugar's dropping in price, but totally okay with it. This thing's down over 50%. That's nuts. Cocoa falls to lowest price since November 2023. Time to load up on chocolate. We read the same exact thing yesterday, which is really funny. Chocolate is apparently having a really bad time. Can't wait to see that reflected in the supermarket. Not that I buy chocolate all the time. Crude oil, make your move. Yeah, I did notice gas prices went up. I was kind of pissed. Like, I got gas on Tuesday. I think I got gas on, maybe it was Monday. I don't know. This has been such a long week. I don't even want to think about what time it is. But yeah, that's what's going on. Crude oil is going up, or it's topped, hopefully. Hopefully it don't break out. Real estate giant CBRE Group plunged by more than 12%. There have been only 2 periods of time where the stock has fallen more: the pandemic and the global financial crisis. That's pretty crazy. That's crazy that there's like no specific rhyme or reason, and everything is at these like pandemic financial crisis levels. It's such a weird situation. Apparently retail is the only like group left that actually has cash. Fear has returned to the stock market. Folks are scared. And last but not least, silver taking a big fat dumperino. We are not surprised. Actually, we are surprised. I thought that silver and gold were going to do good. They might. This might be the final like pullback before the bounce. Hopefully, according to the fractal. Time will tell, though. Time will tell. Let's see. I guess that's it, guys. I guess that's it. Market's pretty stale. We'll see what tomorrow brings. After tomorrow, obviously, we're gonna have weekend liquidity, so maybe we'll have an eventful Saturday, Sunday. That'll be fun. But data coming out tomorrow. We'll see how it moves the markets, if at all. Probably gonna be late again tomorrow, unfortunately. After that, though, I should be good for Saturday and Sunday. And right now I look okay for next week. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys for stopping in to see me, even though it's super duper late. We got 4 votes. I'm going to end the poll. I said, how do you think January inflation comes in? I don't know why I can't type, but that's how it was supposed to be typed out. 50% of you guys think it's coming in lower. 25% of you guys think it's coming in higher. 25% of you guys think it's coming in the same. As always, guys, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Thursday and good night. Tomorrow's DCA day, so it should be much nicer than today.